Hey guys, Gizmodit here, and today I have a very interesting comparison because we're going to compare the cameras of the Redmi Note 7 with the Note 7 Pro. So ideally the Note 7 Pro of course has a much better camera than the Redmi Note 7, but then when we throw Google camera into the picture, things do change quite a bit. So this is going to be a very interesting video. Do watch it till the end because you're going to have some very unexpected outcomes. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. But then before we start, I would like to share a word from my sponsors over at Glazed Ink. They've got the best tempered glass for the Redmi Note 7 and the Note 7 Pro in India right now. Their real curved glass has actual 2.5D curved edges and it's amazing. It's available for a lot of phones apart from these two devices, and you can use the promo code GIZMO to get 10% discount on your order. On that note, let's get started. So I've decided to divide this comparison into three parts. So first I'm going to compare the stock cameras on both of the phone. Then I'm going to go with the Redmi Note 7 with Google camera and stock camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Then finally I'm going to go to Google camera on the Redmi Note 7 and the Note 7 Pro. So let's not waste any more time and get started with the first part of the comparison. So as you can see in the first comparison where we are comparing the stock cameras on both of these phones, it is super evident that the Redmi Note 7 Pro beats the Redmi Note 7. Images taken from the Note 7 Pro have much better bokeh effect because of that low aperture, plus there are a lot of other subtle differences as well. The color of the sky, the shadows all look better on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Even in indoor conditions, the dynamic range is superior on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, plus images have less noise and good amount of detailing if you compare it to the Redmi Note 7. The Note 7 Pro is just more accurate with its colors than the Note 7. And finally, when we move on to the low lighting conditions, both of them have night mode, but here once again Note 7 Pro takes the lead. The low aperture combined with the IMX586 sensor gives a very good advantage to the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Then we move on to the portrait shots, and here once again Note 7 Pro is a clear winner. It exposes the face a lot better, and overall the output was more pleasing on the Note 7 Pro as compared to the Note 7. But when we come to the front facing camera, here differences are not that huge. The output is very much similar on both of them. They both have a tendency to blow out the background, but overall they are very good when it comes to selfies. So basically when we are comparing the stock cameras, of course it's the Note 7 Pro that wins. We expected that. Now let's jump to Google camera on the Redmi Note 7 and compare it to the stock camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. And here there are actually quite a few noticeable differences. So the Note 7 with Google camera has more punchier, contrasty looking photos as compared to the Note 7 Pro. The Pro still does better in terms of shadows, but then if you look at the photo overall, the colors are now better on the Note 7 and not on the Note 7 Pro. Similarly, in indoor conditions, things take a turn too. Note 7 now has less noise, it has more details, and overall the photo is better than the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Plus you get the super resolution zoom on Google camera which I used on the Redmi Note 7, and it actually had more details than the 48 megapixel samples from the Redmi Note 7 Pro. That's absolutely crazy, and you can see the difference in detailing. Be it in daylight or be it in indoor lighting conditions, the Note 7 with super zoom performs better than the 48 megapixel photos on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Then we jump into low lighting, and here once again now that we've got night sight on the Redmi Note 7, it's better than the night mode on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Another difference was in the portrait mode shots. I felt that Google camera on the Redmi Note 7 took much better portraits, especially in indoor conditions as compared to the Redmi Note 7 Pro. And selfies are totally a different ball game altogether. The Redmi Note 7 with Google camera exhibits much better dynamic range. You can actually see the blue sky, whereas on the Note 7 Pro everything is just blown out of proportion. Selfies definitely get a big boost with Google camera on the Redmi Note 7. So Note 7 with Google camera crushes the Redmi Note 7 Pro with stock camera. Now let's come to the last and the final round where we're going to compare Google camera on both of these phones. So the thing right now is that Google camera is not 100% compatible with the Redmi Note 7 Pro. I've made a separate video about the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Google camera, so you guys can check it out for yourself. It's just not 100% compatible yet. If you compare both of the photos side by side, the Note 7 undoubtedly does a better job than the Note 7 Pro. Surprising, right? In daylight, Note 7 has more accurate colors than the Note 7 Pro. Look at the color of my car. Here it's a lot more accurate on the Note 7 than it is on the Pro. Especially in terms of indoor scenarios, the Note 7 has better colors. The portrait mode is actually very disappointing right now on the Note 7 Pro. It underexposes the face a lot, the skin tones are not good, and all in all things are just not optimized well on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. The Redmi Note 7 as of now pulls in much better portrait shots. That's the same case with selfies too. The photos are right in front of you, and it's evident that something is definitely wrong with Google camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. The only area where the Redmi Note 7 Pro does better than the Note 7 is night sight, and that too only on the back camera because the front camera is not working with night sight on the Note 7 Pro. So apart from night sight, Redmi Note 7 Pro does not gain a lot from Gcam, whereas the Redmi Note 7 on the other hand is a better all-rounder, because even with super zoom on the Note 7 Pro, the Note 7 is once again better. So you can see the photos side by side and it's easily evident that Google camera is not optimized for the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So will there be a better optimized APK for the Redmi Note 7 Pro? Maybe and maybe not. As of now, the Redmi Note 7 performs better than the Redmi Note 7 Pro apart from night sight if we talk about Google camera. So I hope that some developer works really hard and puts a proper working Google camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. But as of now, it goes to the Redmi Note 7. Lastly, in terms of video, I would give the credit to the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So Google camera is not that compatible with video on the Note 7 Pro, whereas on the Note 7 you can take videos in 4K with electronic image stabilization. But then the thing is, the stock camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro is actually pretty good on its own. You can take 1080p video with electronic image stabilization, you have 60fps video, you've got 4K 30fps without stabilization. So I personally think that the Redmi Note 7 Pro is more versatile in terms of its video output, so I would give it to the Redmi Note 7 Pro. The Note 7 is not bad as well, but I think Note 7 Pro offers you a more varied option in terms of video as compared to the Note 7. So what's the conclusion now? Well, it's quite evident that if you're going to compare the stock cameras on both of the phones, the Redmi Note 7 Pro is better than the Redmi Note 7. But as soon as we put Google camera into the picture, I have to say overall Redmi Note 7 does a better job. The selfies are significantly better. I mean, you guys could see the difference, especially in terms of selfies. The output is significantly better. You've got super resolution zoom that actually is much more sharper than the 48 megapixel shots on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. And all in all, if you compare the image quality, I think Redmi Note 7 with Google camera is winning as of now. Like I said, Redmi Note 7 Pro might get a better Google camera APK, so these things might change in the future. But as of now, if you're going to talk about right now, Note 7 with Google camera is a better all-rounder phone in terms of camera. So that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because honestly, I didn't find the Note 7 with Google camera to be this good. It was a surprising outcome for me as well. I was actually surprised while I was comparing the samples and I was shooting this video. So quite an interesting video. I hope you guys learned something new from this. And if you guys don't want to miss out on more such videos, definitely hit the red subscribe button and press the bell icon. And if you guys enjoyed this comparison, do hit the like button. I'm gonna be back with a lot more reviews very soon, so stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks for watching and I will be back in the notifications very soon. Peace.